This is Something Somewhere with LEGO Transformers, Axelia. So, Axelia is kind of strange. She's, character design-wise, she's got these wings, kind of like these devil, kind of like these bat spine wings on her hips, and she's got these horns on her shoulders. She's got the one eye. She's got these kind of weird plumes on her hands. The wings in the back are a little strange. This kind of acts... She's very top-heavy, so this kind of acts as like a third leg, almost. Just as kind of like a kickstand. She's also very fragile, so... You can position her in some different... you can get her into some dynamic poses, but... because of how loose the connections are on her arms and legs, and especially mid-torso here, it'd be best, she's more of a shelf figure. More for positioning. Maybe you can get her into one position and just kind of leave her like that. Now, as you may notice, she's got these plumes on her hands, which you can stick a fire piece, like that. Maybe you could do something like that. Now, she does have an affinity for fire. She's very much an arsonist. She very much takes after her that devil side in her. I imagine she was on the High Council, and after a horrible accident, she could no longer mentally handle it, so they said, you can't do it anymore, and they fired her, they demoted her, so she turned insane and set the building ablaze, turning her into this insane arsonist. Other than that, she's kind of interesting. She's got a weird body design where it's really thin on the side, but she's got all this stuff kind of coming that way. Other than that, not that much posability. You can kind of do some stuff with her, but nothing that I haven't already done and figured out. She's got a nice head sculpt. I love this head sculpt. Just this whole character, this whole design was really cool. Now, before she was a bot, a real figure, she was a drawing. I did some artwork of her. Let me find it. She is. It got like she has like these things along her arms where like fire can go, and then you got like a vehicle mode, wings kind of transform. There's like a head, and the wings is kind of what I imagine her to be like. It's not 100% accurate, but you know, what are you gonna do? Transformation is kind of strange. I like to do it in a way where, so because of how fragile they are, I just split it in half and separate the two halves, one at a time each, obviously. So the legs I do first. So what you want to do for the legs is you're going to take these and then kind of straighten them like that. Make sure that they don't break. Make sure that they are lined up evenly. And then you're going to take these bar pieces, and then you're going to kind of make like a right angle with them. kind of like that, but in the opposite direction. But before you do that, you got to, this is really difficult, you got to lift the leg up like that, so that way, this is technically isn't parts forming, because you can do this while it's attached to the rest of the figure. I just prefer not to, because it's easier. So once you have it rotated like that, then you can get it into that angle. Like that. It's a little fragile, so I wouldn't recommend transforming them that often. They're more about the modes, the different alt modes. The transformation isn't very fun. So then you want to take these and kind of rotate them inwards, kind of like Springer with her feet. So that way they're like that. And then you take this piece, and then you kind of you're just going to leave it there for later. And set that aside. And then we come to the rest of it. Now, you're going to do the hardest part first, I do, which would be taking these arms and twisting them around like that, and then taking these pieces and twisting them like that, so that way it's kind of inverted on itself. And then do the same thing on this side. So you can hear it's really tight. It's a really tight connection, which is why it's so difficult, and it breaks a lot easily. You're then going to take this and kind of stretch it out like that, and then bend this so that way it's upside down. And then you're going to take these wings and then just kind of pull them out like that. Same thing on this side. Just make sure that they're nice and straight, so that way we don't really got to deal with them. And then you pull these, then you're going to take these horns and just pull them inward, just so that way they're also out of the way. And then you pull up the arms like that. And then you're going to pull this up. You're going to pull these up like that, so that way they're flush with the head. And then you're going to take this piece, pull it up, not break it, and then you're going to take these pieces, kind of pull them down like that, and then down like that, so that way they're pointing downward. And then once you have that whole thing rotated, you're going to flip it around like that. And then gonna take that, and then you do that, and then this is the hardest part. You gotta kind of make sure everything is where it's supposed to be. So this is the hardest part. You take these down. Now you want to kind of give them a bend. You want to bend them a little bit, both of them, so that way they fit nicely against it. And then you're going to bring this down like that. Maybe straighten them out a little bit. Like I said, this is the hardest part, the transformation. It's not fun. Just because of its fiddliness. So, once you have it like that, you want to make sure that these are all the way back. So that way they stay in place. And then make sure that this doesn't rotate. And then you keep these down, so that way they kind of just keep it in place. And then you can bring these up a little bit. And then you come back here, and then you just fold these down. Like that. And then you take the head, and you rotate it around. Like that. And then tuck it up there. Make sure everything is in its way, and then you take these blades, you fold them out like that. Do the same thing on this side. Preferably, you want to make them symmetrical. If you don't, that's whatever, but I have OCD, so I cannot make them not symmetrical. And then bring it down, and then there you have the back section done. Make sure everything is nice and connected, straightened, positioned how you want it to be. And then you take this front side, and then you just plug it back into was. You make sure it's all straightened out. Nothing's falling apart like it is right now. Like I said, it's very fiddly, but once everything is where it's supposed to be, it looks good. Okay, so jump cut, because I messed it up. So you attach it again, and then you just kind of bring it down. Make sure that these are facing this way. Make sure that they're facing that way. That's very important, because if they're not, they won't be behind these cheese slopes here, and it'll look bad, and it won't stay together. So, they turn, Axelia turns into a kind of Cybertronian flying thing, I don't know. It's got like the fuselage, like the body of a like a regular plane, but it has like propellers on its wings, which is kind of weird. You can kind of angle them at an angle to make it look cool. You can kind of bend them forward to make it go forward or back, really any way. I love how the wings in robot mode turn into the wings in the vehicle mode, and I love how the feet kind of form little this little area at the front that kind of acts like a shield, and the skirt at the back is the cockpit, the main cockpit. And I love how everything just kind of slides together neatly, somewhat. The horns are hidden neatly with the head back here. And I love this tail, this rear tail end, how it's got like the little jet engine. The blades don't spin, they're more just for decoration, but I don't know. This is more for speed. Maybe not speed, but this is not a fighter vehicle. This is more of an I need to get out of here. While Axelia she's more bark than she is bite. She's one of those characters. For comparison, here she is next to a Dr. Pepper can and a pencil. Because why not? Like I said, she's very fragile. It takes a lot of patience and elbow grease to really get her where you want. Her qualities and her upsides lie within her alt modes, not her transformation. But once you've got it down, I think it's kind of a fun experience, kind of seeing where you mess up, and it's something to master, definitely. Either way, this has been Something Somewhere with LEGO Transformers Axelia. I'll see you next time.